Hey there, and welcome back to Plays Well with Butter. I'm Jess Larson, and today we're gonna make red wine braised short ribs. Rich and hearty beef short ribs slowly simmer in a red wine sauce with aromatic veggies and fresh herbs until they're succulent and meltingly tender. You can serve them up over mashed potatoes along with some of that braising liquid over top. It is a show-stopping dinner with restaurant-worthy flavor, and the best part is it couldn't be easier to make. You're gonna be obsessed. Now, braised short ribs are one of my all-time favorite things to cook. They're so flavorful and feel so special, but like most braised dishes, they really couldn't be easier to make because they practically cook themselves. It's a low-effort, high-reward meal that's perfect for cozy nights in and special occasion dinners. Now, I have two go-to recipes whenever I'm gonna braise short ribs. My short rib ragu, which is designed to toss into pasta, and these red wine braised short ribs, which are great all on their own. So the first thing we're gonna do is generously season our beef short ribs. Since they're such a rich cut of meat with lots of nice marbling, they can really hold up to a good amount of seasoning. And a good rule of thumb is about a teaspoon of kosher salt per pound. So I'm just gonna season the entire surface of these short ribs. Make sure we get all of the sides. And as you may know, short ribs come sold in two common styles. You have flank and cut short ribs, which are probably the ones that come to mind when you think of kalbi or Korean barbecue. And those are cut across the bone. So they're really thin strips with lots of little pieces of bone throughout. And then we have what's called an English cut short rib, which is a meatier section cut along the bone. That's exactly what you want for a braised dish, like braised short ribs. So head over to your butcher shop and grab the nicest English cut short ribs you can find for this recipe. It's really the star of the dish. So starting with good short ribs is key. You want nice marbling and nice big meaty pieces. I like to be pretty generous with ground black pepper, and then you can sort of use your tongs to slide around and pick up any of the seasoning that's fallen onto the cutting board. Beautiful. And the last thing we're gonna do before we brown these off is just give them a really light dusting in some flour. So I have all-purpose flour here in a shallow bowl. I'm gonna use my tongs to move the short ribs around and coat the entire surface in flour, and this helps promote browning, which helps develop rich flavor. The one thing you're gonna wanna do is tap off as much of that excess flour as possible because that will just burn as the short ribs brown. So we don't want any excess. I'm gonna do that with the rest of my short ribs, and then we can get browning. And be sure to hang on to that seasoned flour, anything that you have left over, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna use it to build a roux that's gonna thicken our braising liquid. So I've got some olive oil going here in a large Dutch oven, and once it's hot and shimmering, we're gonna add in our seasoned short ribs. We're gonna brown them off. What you wanna hear is that sizzle as soon as you set them down, and I like to swish them around a little bit to make sure that all of the surface of the short rib comes into contact with the pan. We're gonna take some time to sear the short ribs 3 to 5 minutes per side until we've developed a beautiful golden brown color. And what's happening by doing this is we're facilitating a chemical reaction called the Maillard reaction, which creates a beautiful base of flavor for the entire braised dish. Our short ribs are looking beautifully browned, and at this point you're gonna wanna take them out of the pot and transfer them to a plate. The short ribs render a good amount of fat as they brown, so you'll just wanna drain all but 2 tablespoons of that and discard it once it cools. And at this point, we're gonna brown our mirepoix. So I have diced onion, carrot, and celery here. And we're gonna add that right in and brown it in that beef fat. Give it a good stir, then season it with some kosher salt. And we're gonna let this cook for 12 to 15 minutes until it's really browned. And it's important to take your time here because these veggies are the base of flavor of the entire dish, so we really want to develop as much flavor as we can by browning them really deeply. Our veggies are looking browned and beautiful. And at this point, we're going to start building our braise. So I'm gonna add in a couple last aromatics. We've got some garlic, as well as a hefty amount of tomato paste for flavor and richness and body. Tomato paste is one of my favorite ingredients, especially when we're making a long braise like short ribs. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stir to coat all of the veggies in that tomato paste. We're gonna let it cook for a couple more minutes to start to cook off some of that tinned flavor from the tomato paste and really get a nice dark red color. And if you remember that seasoned flour that we used to dredge the short ribs, we'll pour the rest right in over those veggies and stir to coat and cook another minute or two to get that rawness out of the flour, and then we'll deglaze with our red wine. When it comes to wine, you can use whatever red you like to drink. I happen to have a bottle of Cabernet open, but Merlot, something like Chianti is really fabulous too. What you're gonna want to try to avoid here is something with lots of oakiness, because that's going to overpower what we've got going on with our braise. I'm gonna pour this in and scrape with my spoon to get any brown bits at the bottom of the pan. That's gonna start to thicken right away, and we're going to balance out those flavors with a little bit of beef stock. And then we'll add our short ribs right back in. Nestle them right into that liquid so they're really cozy. And if you have any drippings on the plate, you'll want to pour those in too, because that is flavor. And a couple of last flavor boosting finishing touches. I have some fresh herbs here, rosemary and thyme, that I've just tied together with some twine. Nestle that right in, along with a couple of dried bay leaves and some Parmesan rinds. These are gonna infuse the braising liquid as everything simmers together, making for even more flavor. We'll bring this up to a bubble, then I'm gonna reduce heat to maintain a really gentle simmer, and we'll let these gently cook for 3 to 3.5 hours until those short ribs are fall apart tender. And here they are, so beautiful, absolutely fall apart tender. I like to serve them up over a big bed of mashed potatoes, but polenta would be delicious too. Be sure to pour a generous amount of that braising liquid over top, and they just fall right from the bone. I mean, look at that. That is so good. The short ribs are melt in your mouth tender, and they have such great flavor. The braising liquid is so rich, and you definitely want something like mild potatoes to soak it all up. You really can't beat that. It's so comforting. So go ahead and grab the full recipe on Plays Well with Butter. I really think you're gonna love it. It's seriously a low effort, high reward dish that's gonna impress anyone you serve it to. But before you go, be sure to like and subscribe for more unfussy recipes that pack a big punch of flavor. I'll see you next time.